Don't you just hate it that when you meet that one person that possesses so much knowledge, but he has no manners? Don't you just hate it when you try to talk to them and try to obtain that knowledge from that individual, that they show arrogance and they have no humbleness in their life? In Islam, there are important teachings called adab and mannerism. These teachings come from the Quran and how the Prophet ﷺ acted as an individual. Adab is like the foundation of Islamic values. It's not just about having good thoughts and feelings inside. In Islam, adab means being humble, caring, and honest. The Prophet ﷺ, in a very beautiful hadith, he says, إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ لِأُتَمِّمَ صَالِحَ الْأَخْلَاقِ وَفِي لَفْظٍ إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ لِأُتَمِّمَ مَكَارِمَ الْأَخْلَاقِ. I was only sent down to perfect noble character. In another phrasing, he says, I was only sent down to perfect the finest of manners. In another hadith, the Prophet ﷺ says, مَا نَحَلَ وَالِدٌ وَلَدًا مِنْ نَحْلٍ أَفْضَلَ مِنْ أَدَبٍ حَسَنٍ. The Prophet ﷺ, he says, a parent leaving behind for their child a good upbringing is better than leaving behind any type of wealth. Many times as parents, we're constantly focused on what our child eats, how they're dressed, and how presentable they appear to the public. All aspects of their outer appearance. However, we often overlook the importance of nurturing their inner selves. It's crucial for us as parents to instill good manners in our children, because that is what will elevate them to the next level, both in this world and in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The beautiful ayat of the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes mention of it, and He says, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا قُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ وَأَهْلِيكُمْ نَارًا وَقُودُهَا النَّاسُ وَالْحِجَارَةُ عَلَيْهَا مَلَائِكَةٌ غِلَاظٌ شِدَادٌ لَا يَعْصُونَ اللَّهَ مَا أَمَرَهُمْ وَيَفْعَلُونَ مَا يُؤْمَرُونَ. What does Allah say? O you who have believed, perfect yourselves and your families from a fire whose fuel is people and stones, over which are appointed angels. One may ask, how is it possible to save them from the fire? The Mufassirin, they write in regards to this very ayat of the Quran, teach them and discipline them. How does one actually save his or her family members from the fire? It is by teaching them discipline. We learn that so much of our salvation on earth can be achieved by showing discipline, good morals, and character. Sufyan Thawri rahmatullah alayhi, he says, Husnul adab yutfi'u ghadab al-Rabb. Good manners extinguish the anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Abu Zakari al-Ambari rahmatullah alayhi, he says, علم بلا أدب كنار بلا حطب. Knowledge without manners is like fire without wood. وَأَدَبٌ بِلَا عِلْمٍ كَرُوحٍ بِلَا جِسْمٍ. And manners without knowledge are like a spirit without a body. Both knowledge and manners coincide with each other. It is important to have both, but most importantly, to have manners more than anything. Ibn al-Muqaffa rahmatullah alayhi says, أَحَقُّ النَّاسِ بِالْعِلْمِ أَحْسَنُهُمْ تَأْدِيبًا. The most deserving of people for knowledge are those who are the best in discipline. He further goes and he elaborates and he says, أَفْضَلُ مَا يُورِثُ الْآبَاءَ الْأَبْنَاءَ. The best inheritance parents can give and leave for their children is of three of them. The first one, الثَّنَاءُ الْحَسَنِ. Good praise, positive acknowledgement for their actions and behavior. And the second, he says, وَالْأَدَبُ النَّافِعُ. Beneficial manners, teaching and instilling manners that are helpful and beneficial in their interactions with other people. And last but not least, he says, وَالْإِخْوَانُ الصَّالِحُونَ. And righteous siblings, having siblings who are righteous and virtuous, as they can serve as positive influence and a source of support in their lives. In conclusion today, adhering to good manners in Islam is not merely a choice, but a responsibility and a means of attaining excellence in both worldly affairs and in the hereafter. It is through embodying these values that Muslims fulfill their duties to themselves, to their families, to their community, and to the Creator, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to embody the true manners that is respected, that is truly dear to us in our religion. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to fulfill those obligations. Jazakallah khair. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.